Hi, welcome back to another Collections Connections here at the Valentine Museum. Today we're back in the 1812 Wickham House. We're going to be looking at this half-length portrait here of Elizabeth Selden McClurg Wickham. Elizabeth was born in 1871 in Williamsburg, Virginia, born to Dr. James McClurg and Elizabeth Selden. These were two members of Virginia's socioeconomic elite already, meaning that as Elizabeth grew up, she would have been exposed regularly to that high society of Virginia. What this meant is that by 15, Elizabeth already had a long list of suitors asking for her hand in marriage, the most prominent of these being a man named Edwin Thacker Burwell, who was the sole executor of a massive family fortune. Coincidentally, head over heels for Elizabeth, and he was also very ill. What this meant was that before Elizabeth turned 16, he had passed away, leaving half of his massive fortune to his brother and the other half of his massive fortune to Elizabeth. This made Elizabeth financially independent and very wealthy at the age of 16, which would have been quite rare for the time. This also would have made Elizabeth a highly attractive bachelorette for the young men of high society at the time. Eventually, Elizabeth marries to John Wickham, a local Richmond attorney, in about 1800 at the age of 18. John is a prominent member of society here, as well as a good friend of Elizabeth's father, Dr. McClurg. Elizabeth would have become the stepmother of John's first two sons from his previous marriage to a lady named Mary Smith Fanning, who John had acquired a lot of wealth from in his marriage. Elizabeth also had 17 of her own children, most of whom survived through infancy. John and Elizabeth would live here at the Wickham House until their deaths, respectively, in 1839 and 1853. They would have entertained lavish parties and they would have been wealthy socialites here in the city. This portrait is also very significant to our collection because it was painted by Gilbert Stuart, who is one of the more famous and renowned U.S. painters of the early national period. Elizabeth likely sat for the portrait with Stuart sometime between 1801 and 1803, making her between 19 and 21 years old at the time of the painting. Elizabeth is seen here in a high-waisted dress and a pink shawl. This is likely just before or just after one of her 17 pregnancies. The portrait remained in the Wickham family until it was donated to the Valentine Museum. Thanks again for watching, and feel free to come visit us at the Valentine Museum, come see the Wickham House, and be on the lookout for more Collections Connections videos.